So when you look at a map, does it seem like India has China by the geostrategic balls? I mean, you have India right here, kind of like that. And then you have China that kind of goes and wraps around like this. Those are rough drawings, but you get the point. It doesn't really seem like India can impact China, especially its economy, in any meaningful manner. I mean, 80% of China's oil comes from the Middle East. It can easily traverse around the southern portion of India without having to deal with the Indian Navy and then enter the Malacca Strait and head to Chinese ports. However, there's a little known island chain that India owns, and we'll go ahead and zoom in on it. Do you see where I'm talking about? Probably not, because this is not where that island chain that India owns exists. It is right here. It is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and they sit right here at the very strategically important Malacca Strait that China uses to ship 80% of its oil from the Middle East. India has 7 military bases in this island chain. That is how strategically important it is to India. And as I said before, 80% of China's oil comes from the Middle East through this strait. Were India to use its combat power, its navy, who has a significant presence on these islands, to lock down the Malacca Strait, 80% of China's oil gets cut off. Given that China has about 500 million barrels of oil in reserve, that means China probably has about 50 days of oil. That is in a non-wartime scenario. You go to a wartime scenario, it's about 35 days. People will ask, well, don't they have pipelines that come from Russia? Doesn't China get piped oil from Russia? Sure, yeah, they have a couple pipelines. I'm not showing exactly where they are, but that is not even remotely close to enough to make up for the loss of the Malacca Strait or the Middle Eastern oil through the Malacca Strait. Some others will ask, well, can they go further south? Yes, that's a possibility. You can go further south. It increases the travel distance an enormous amount through some pretty treacherous open waters. And if India's fighting a war with China, I don't think Quad nations such as Australia are going to be super friendly about China traversing their area. So as you can see, China once again proves it is in just a strategically terrible position to try to be starting any kind of conflicts with other countries. And India is just added to that list because of the power and control it has over the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which control the entrance of the Malacca Strait and thus controls China's economy.